Hello everyone, I hope I'm audible. Just confirm by putting on the chat. Yes, no. Is there any echo, any lag on my voice, guys? Okay. So guys, just let's wait for 10 more minutes and after that I'll just start the demo. Okay. Meanwhile, guys, I'm just sharing my YouTube link. Okay. So you can also check out into my YouTube channels. There are a lot of videos will be there. So guys, let's wait for 6 more minutes and after that I'll just continue. So guys, we have around 4 minutes. So meanwhile, if you have any questions regarding the training, I can take. I will start the demo after 5 minutes.
Sir, sound is very low, sir.
It is fine now.
No, sir, very low.
Guys, so this is for only you or for everyone? Can somebody confirm?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
no, it's
It is
fine.
okay, sir.
Yeah, I can hear. It's okay.
So I think you are the one who is fetching the issue. So do one thing, just rejoin the meeting again. Okay.
Okay, sir, I will join it.
Just please rejoin. Yes, Santosh, I'll take this question during the demo. Okay. Don't worry. I'll explain you everything. Who can join this training? What are the requirement? Everything I will cover. Meanwhile, you guys, you can visit our YouTube channels. So I'm just putting both the link of our YouTube channels. So we have 2 YouTube channels. And this is our video portal. So these links you will get during the session. And meanwhile, let me just share you one more thing here. Not yet.
बात करने से
Okay, so guys, let's wait for 2 more minutes and after I'll just continue. And if you will check, you have received the link of our video portal and everything, where you can able to see couple of free videos will be there. And I'm just putting the link of course content on the chat box, and same you will also get by our team. So that's not a problem. We will also share this again. Okay, so guys, just confirm one more time. I'm audible properly. Any echo at my end? All good? Are you able to see my screen? You can write on the chat. Is my screen visible to everyone? Okay. And I think my voice is also coming properly. No, there is no any lag, right? Okay, then let me just start with your demo now. Hello everyone, my name is Hemu and I'm from Sianet. And thank you everyone for joining this particular demo. So let me just tell you why we are here and why we have basically joined this particular demo. So guys, we are just planning one of the AWS training. We are covering AWS certified basics to advanced networking specialty training. So now let me tell you why I have basically chosen this particular AWS training. Because guys, this is the most important training and this training is required for the network engineer or the security engineer. Because nowadays, if you have seen, most of the applications are there over the cloud, right? And now over the cloud, what we have to know these networking concept over the cloud. Like we have to know how we can deploy PaloAlto firewall over the cloud, how we can deploy SD-WAN controllers or SD-WAN routers over the cloud environment, right? How we can basically create a DR setup over the cloud environment, right? So all these type of industry use cases I am going to cover in this particular training. Okay. I will basically discuss how we can basically implement the hybrid networking between your AWS infra and your on-prem infra or your branches or your headquarter sites, right? All these things I'm going to cover in this particular training. And this training basically is for the network engineers and security engineers. And guys, in this training, I will first try to cover your cloud computing, like basics of your AWS cloud. Okay, once your basics will be completed, and after that I'll just move towards the AWS environment, AWS BPC services and all, or like all the AWS concept, all the offering which is provided by the AWS to us. This particular batch I'm starting from 3rd Feb. And guys, it's a weekends class, so your classes will happen Saturday and Sunday. And this particular training I will start from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST, so means it's around 3 hours of session. 3 hours on Saturday and 3 hours of Sunday. Okay. This particular training required around 10 weekends. So total, there is a total of 20 classes. Okay. Maybe there is a one or two classes up, or maybe 1 or 2 classes down, right? So I will try to complete this training between your 10 to 11 weekends. Okay. I hope this part is clear. Now, let me just tell you the fees for this training. So guys, fees for this training is 10,000 for Indian students. For the international student, they have to pay 150 USD. Okay. Now before discussing all these points, let me just go through with the information. So guys, you can see this is our YouTube channel. So we have a 2 YouTube channel. This particular YouTube channel is managed by me. In this particular YouTube channel, if you will check, you will get lots of videos on PaloAlto firewall, on SD-WAN devices, panorama, like there are lots of playlist will be there, right? So you can check out the videos here. Like I have created, there are a couple of AWS videos will be also there, right? Apart from that, we have one more YouTube channel, which is Skilled Inspirational Academy. In this particular YouTube channel, you will get lots of F5 related material and the Python related material. Apart from that, we have a video portal, and here you can able to basically get all our recorded session. If you want to purchase the recorded session, you can able to get all these things through our video portal. Okay, these links will be provided by our team. That's not a problem. Okay, now Now guys, let me tell you what are the things I will cover in this particular training. So this is around 60 plus hours of training. You will get the lifetime interview support. So let's suppose you have an interview. You have to reach out to me around 3 days before, and I can take a mock interview with you. And I will tell you what are the points, what are the topics you have to cover, what are the things you need to prepare for the interview. I will also share the lots of documents with regards to AWS, where you can able to cover the theoretical stuff and all. You will get the lifetime access of recorded session. So if you will enroll for this training, you will get the access of each and every like recorded session videos with lifetime access. Okay. I will also help you with the lab setup, because when we will discuss the hybrid networking, that time I will explain you how you have to create, how you can build your own lab, because we have to configure the IPsec tunnel and all with your local lab devices. Okay. It's a beacons batch. You can also able to discuss any type of practical issues during the sessions. You will get the mock interview support as well. So these are the things which we will provide generally. Now, let me guys explain you what are the course content which I am going to cover in this particular training. So with regards to course content, I have basically prepared this particular course content. So guys, it's a customized course content. Okay, let me tell you, it's a customized course content. This particular course content, as I have mentioned, it is basically designed for network engineers and security engineers. And guys, if you are a network engineer, if you are a security engineer, and you want to start your cloud journey, this is the best course. These are the whatever component we will discuss in this training, only these components you need to know. Okay. And guys, this is our contact details. So you can reach out to us on these numbers if you are interested for this training. This is my email ID. You can also email me if any type of issues will be there. Okay. So guys, if you have seen here, I will go through with the PaloAlto deployment, checkpoint, F5, ASA, SD-WAN routers, SD-WAN controllers, right? IPsec tunnel, direct connect. So direct connect lab is not possible. Route 53 implementation on AWS environment. Okay. So these are the main things which I'm going to cover. Now let's discuss the prerequisite. So for this training, you need a basic knowledge of networking. Means if you have a CCNA level knowledge, you are good to go. You can able to join this particular training. Okay. Now, let me explain what are the things I'm going to cover. So guys, I will start this particular training with the introduction of the cloud component, where we will discuss essential characteristic of the cloud computing. Means what are the main features, what are the main services offered by the cloud computing or the cloud environment. So because of these features, this particular cloud nowadays becomes so much popular, right? We will discuss the service model in the cloud computing, like what are the services model will be there, what is like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, right? All these particular model we will discuss with the example. And guys, in during the training, what I will do, I will just compare the AWS infrastructure with your on-prem data center infrastructure. So you will get the idea how the component will be there in the AWS environment. We will discuss what is public cloud, what is private cloud, what is hybrid cloud, and what is on-prem data centers. What are the advantages of the cloud, right? What is Amazon AWS? Now your basically Amazon start from here. So we will discuss what is Amazon AWS infrastructure, right? We will discuss what are the services offered by the AWS, what is the history, how AWS started, right? All these things I'm going to cover. Why you will go for the AWS environment, what is the main reason to choose the AWS environment, basically. How AWS is leading the cloud market. Because there is around right now in cloud industry, AWS is the market leader. Why he is a market leader, and what is the main customer base? What is the like main customer base of AWS. So we will discuss all these things in detail. AWS certification, like what type of certification offered by the AWS. We will see the AWS status over the Gartner report, how we can create the AWS account, what are the limitations we are having with the free tier account, how we can enable the multi-factor authentication, creating a budget, introductions to billing, dashboard, cost explorer, all these things I'm going to cover, how we can create a production account as well. So I will take this as well, like where we will create a production account, right? Multiple with the help of multiple organization and all, right? Identity based, I will cover the identity and access management, means how we can manage the username and passwords like we used to do in the Active Directory, right? So these things we will cover. Adding an IAM admin account, like we will create one journal account, then we will create one production account. What is the access keys, creating access keys and setting up the AWS CLI, right? Because if you want to perform the automation task, right, you have to set up the AWS CLI, right? So we will discuss that as well. Then I will cover what is AWS organizations, AWS CLI and console, right? Managing AWS resources and subscription, right? AWS global infrastructure, what is region, what is availability zone, what is pop locations, right? All these things I'm going to cover. What are the regions like? So we will see the global infrastructure of the AWS, where I will discuss how many regions will be available across the globe, right? What is availability zone in a region, right? What is service walkthrough high level, right? Service level agreement. All these topics I will discuss. Once this thing will complete, I'll move towards the AWS networking and infrastructure security, right? Where we will discuss what is networking in the cloud, right? So all the networking component over the cloud is managed by the BPC. So I will discuss everything with regards to BPC, bandwidth and latency, right? IP address schemes, OSI model, routing, switching, right? Network address, firewalls, on-prem network. So first I will go through with the on-prem environment type of things, right here. Virtual private cloud, right? Then BPC component and on-prem device, on-prem DC devices, how we can compare the BPC devices and the on-prem devices, right? What is public and private AWS services, BPC structure and IP plan, like custom BPC overview, BPC subnets, public subnet, private subnet, right? Implementing a BPC and subnet design, implement multi-tier BPC subnets, DSCP and BPC router deep dive, right? Stateful versus stateless firewalls, because we have a network ACLs, network access control list, security groups, right? So we will discuss. These are the two things which we generally use to allow or block the traffic. Okay. BPC flow logs, right? All these things we will discuss. IPv6 in AWS environment, BPC traffic mirroring, all these things we will discuss. Once these things will complete, I'll move towards the BPC public networking, where I will discuss what is AWS Internet Gateway. What is egress only internet gateway? Configuring public subnet and jump box environment. Bring your own IP address, like how we can configure the bastion host or the jump box, and how we can configure the authentication. What is port forwarding? What is net? How we can basically configure the net instance in AWS. What is net gateway, right? Implementing private internet access using the net gateways, right? All these particular labs we are going to perform. Then I will discuss the most important topic, which is BPC endpoint. Nowadays, this BPC endpoint is used a lot, basically over the AWS environment. Okay. So I will discuss what is AWS private link, gateway BPC endpoint, interface BPC endpoint, BPC endpoint gateway, BPC endpoint internet, right? Egress only internet gateway, endpoint policies. So all these things I'm going to cover with regards to your endpoint. Then I will discuss your EC2. Means, guys, if somebody have worked with the VMware environment, in virtual environment, what we used to do, we used to basically install the Linux servers, right? Your Windows servers. So your EC2 is a elastic compute, means in AWS, if you want to deploy, let's suppose PaloAlto firewall, or let's suppose you want to deploy any type of Windows server or Linux server, right? Everything we have to do under the EC2 console, Elastic Compute Console, right? So I will discuss introduction of EC2, scaling feature of EC2, limitation of EC2, new console, orientation, right? Launch EC2 instance hands-on, like type of operating system. So what type of basically operating systems available on AWS, how we can install them, Windows and its versions, right? Unix and its flavors, Linux and its flavors. So all these things we will do practically. I will deploy Windows servers, Linux servers, everything over the AWS environment, right? Then Cisco device in AWS, Palo Alto network device in AWS, how we can deploy Cisco router or Cisco ASA on AWS, Palo Alto on AWS, right? Instance type. Generally, I will more focus on the Palo Alto because Palo Alto is the most deployed device over the AWS environment nowadays. Free tier limitation, right? What is EBS, Elastic Block Store? Then type of storage, difference between object and block storage, like launching Windows server, launching Linux server, system port and security groups, key pairs, what is PAM, what is PPK, right? Connect to EC2 instance, how we can connect, how we can install the putty Zen tool, stop and terminating the EC2 instance, user data, right? All these things I am going to cover in detail. We will discuss how we can basically create the AMIs, right? How we can create the snapshot to just take the backup, what is EVS volume, right? How we can basically difference between SSD and HSD, all these component, all these particular things I'm going to cover, right? Deletion sequence as per the dependency, use instance metadata, right? Instance user data, all these things I'm going to cover. Then private IP address, public IP address, elastic IP address, I will going to discuss. Net instance and net gateway overview, private subnet with net gateway, private subnet with the net instance, right? So all these things I'm going to explain you. Once this part will complete, I will also explain you or give you the overview of the storage services. Because guys, let me tell you, see, if you are a network engineer, then in AWS, you have to know the everything with regards to BPC, everything with regards to EC2, and you also need some knowledge of S3. S3 is a storage services because when your device generates some type of log, right? Or let's suppose you want to download some of the files, everything you will upload in the S3. It is a storage service, right? So I will also discuss the storage related, like S3 bucket creation, storage services, pricing of S3 storage, S3 file upload, versioning, replication, life management, security and encryption lab, right? Bucket sharing, life cycle policies, Glacier, S3 one zone IA, right? All these particular things I'm going to cover with regards to practicals, right? Once this will complete, I will go through with the EVS introduction, right? Elastic block storage, elastic file system, right? Create EVS volumes, how we can attach these volumes and detach these volumes from the instances, right? Mounting and unmounting of EVS volumes, EVS versus instance store, EVS volumes type, launching instance with multiple EVS volume, right? Attach volumes to the running instance, create volume from a snapshot, right? Working with AMIs, working with snapshot, all these particular things I'm going to cover in your S3. Then I will also discuss the networking which is needed for EC2 and BPC, which means how we can basically, what is elastic fabric adapter, enhanced networking, right? Placement, groups, cluster, spread, partition, instance metadata, right? All these things I'm going to cover. How we can configure the BPC peering, peering BPCs, right? BPC peering on the same region and the cross region, BPC pairing with the different accounts, right? BPC pairing with the overlapping CIDR and unsupported configuration, right? So all these things I'm going to cover in the BPC pairing. So we will perform around 3-4 labs here on the BPC pairing. Then I will start your BPC hybrid networking, which includes I will give you the overview of IPsec VPN fundamentals, virtual private gateway deep dive. What is virtual private gateway? How we can configure AWS site-to-site VPN, how we can basically enable the BGP routing between the between the VPN peers, right? BGP path selection, local preference. So I will give you the basic idea of BGP as well. Then global escalator VPN, transit gateway deep dive. Then we will perform these 4 labs with regards to like advanced site-to-site VPN configuration with other AWS account, AWS site-to-site VPN with PaloAlto, with Cisco SA and Cisco routers. Then client. So from here, basically, I will start the remote access VPN configuration like your global protect or any connect we are having, right? So AWS will also offers the same type of things. In client VPN, I will give you the overview of the client VPN or AWS remote access VPN solution, client VPN setup, client VPN directory, certificates, create and install VPN endpoint, configure client VPN endpoint, right? So we will discuss all these things with regards to your remote access VPN over the AWS environment. I will also give you the basic idea of AWS certificate manager service, right? Then CloudFront architecture, CloudFront SSL and TLS, SNI, right? Security and custom origins. So all these things I will discuss in your CloudFront. Then I will give you the overview of DDoS, AWS Shield, and AWS Network Firewall. Once these topics will complete, I'll move towards the load balancers, where I will discuss the AWS Elastic Load Balancers, right? Where we will discuss application load balancers. Then we will discuss the network load balancer, right? How we can do all these particular labs. So I am going to cover everything with regards to your load balancer. Gateway load balancer will be there, right? Network load balancer will be there. Application load balancer will be there. So we will do all these particular load balancer related practicals. And I will also explain you the auto scaling. This is auto scaling, also very nice features which is offered by the cloud environment, right? So we will do these particular labs as well: auto scaling group, ASG scaling policies, launch configuration and launch templates, auto scaling health check, right? Everything we will discuss. And guys, this auto scaling I will integrate with the application load balancer. It's not like that. I will do the proper implementation of these things. Now let me go down. Once this part will complete, I'll move towards the Route 53, which is a DNS service offered by the AWS environment, or you can say it is like a DNS services, right? So we will discuss Route 53 fundamentals. What is DNS, purpose of DNS, registering a domain, DNS record, Route 53 public hosted zones, right? Private hosted zones, Route 53 alias, simple routing, Route 53 health check. So everything I will cover with regards to your Route 53. Different routing policies, failover routing, right? Multi-value routing, baited routing, latency, like all these things I will cover in your Route 53 of AWS. Then I'll just give you the idea of CDN as well, content delivery network, how we can implement what is CloudFront, right? All these things. Now guys, just remember one thing. In AWS BPC hybrid networking deep dive, this AWS direct connect, guys, here I will not able to perform the labs. Here I will only explain you the theoretical concept, because this particular environment requires the dedicated ISP connections. Okay. So I will just explain you the theoretical things here with regards to the direct connect. Then I will give you the overview of identity and access management. What is identity policies? How we can create the users, how we can create the groups, how we can create the roles, right? Everything we will discuss with regards to your identity and access management. Then guys, this is also most important topic, like login and monitoring, how we can basically check the logs using the CloudWatch, right? How we can configure the monitoring, everything I will cover, how we can create the alarms, right? how we can basically study the line graph, right? Create the billing alarm, right? Cloud watch graphs, everything I will discuss with regards to logging. Then I will give you the basic overview of your AWS web service. Application layer firewalls, deploying the AWS web application firewall, web ACLs, rules, groups and rules. All these things I'm going to cover with regards to the web. So guys, these are the things which I am going to cover in this particular training. So this particular course content link, I have already shared over the chat. Let me just reshare it once again. So this is the Google Drive link for the same. So you can able to download this particular file. So I'm just putting this link over the chat. Okay. Now guys, what I can do in today's class, what I am planning to do, let's try to understand or let's try to implement IPsec site-to-site VPN between AWS and Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, this is the lab which I'm going to cover in today's demo session. IPsec site-to-site VPN setup between Palo Alto and AWS environment. Okay, now let me explain you how my labs looks like. So if you will see here, I have a AWS cloud here, and on my laptop, I have a Palo Alto firewall. Behind this Palo Alto firewall, I have a test PC, and I have these 3 servers. This test PC is a part of inside zone, and these servers is a part of my DMZ zone. And this firewall have a connectivity with the internet. Now, what we are trying to do, I will basically configure the IPsec site-to-site VPN between AWS and on-prem data center. And what I will do, I will basically launch 2 EC2 machines on AWS environment. And what I will do, I will try to access these particular servers from the AWS environment. And on these machines, I will basically configure the web services. So what I will do, I will try to access these machines from my test PC over the on-prem environment. This is what I'm trying to do. So guys, for this basic setup you need, let me just show you the basic setup, whatever I'm having. So I have my Palo Alto firewall. This is my Windows XP machine, which is a test PC. And here I have just denoted one server, but I will open these 2 servers as well. These are the 3 servers I'm having on my DMZ. So right now my Palo Alto firewall have a basic configuration. If I'll go here, if I'll show you, in my Palo Alto firewall, I have a basic setup. I have a Ethernet 1x1 interface, which is a part of outside zone and having IP address 192.168.250. I have a Ethernet 1x2, which is a part of inside zone and having IP address 10.1.1.250. And I have one more Ethernet 1x3 and I have 10.2.2.250 IP address and it's a part of DMZ zone. There are the basic policies also available on my Palo Alto firewall. And right now, if I'll go on my test machine here, if I log in here and if I will try to communicate with the internet right now, it is able to reach the internet. Let me just test this part first. So if I'll go here, if I'll type google.com, you can see it is able to reach the internet, which means I am good to go from my data center side. Okay. Now, what I will do, guys, now let me just build the environment over the AWS first. Now in AWS, what I need to do, I will create one BPC and I will define this particular CIDR on my BPC 172.16.0.0/20. I will create 3 subnets, subnet 0, which is private, subnet 2, which is also private, and subnet 3, which is a public. And these are the network which I'm going to use on my subnet. And after that, what I will do, I will basically host this virtual machine on my subnet 1 and this virtual machine on my subnet 2. So VM01, I will make sure this will get this IP address, and VM2, I will make sure this will get this IP address. Okay, so now guys, let's just start the lab part. See, here I will not able to explain you all the concept with regards to IPsec VPN, what it used to do, right? Like generally, if you know the basic of VPN, what VPN used to do, VPN allows the host to communicate privately over the untrusted environment. Means what VPN used to do, VPNs allows the secure communication over the public internet, right? This is the main feature of the IPsec VPN. Okay, in your live classes I will explain you these things in detail because it's just a demo. Here we have a time limitation. Okay, so what I will do, let me just go through with the lab part so you will get some basic overview. So right now I have logged in on my AWS console, and right now if you will see, I am on the North Virginia region. I'm in the North Virginia region, and I will basically create the things in this particular region. So I'll go into my BPC here. I'll just create one BPC, and I'll give the name to this BPC like BPC01. Here we have in the BPC, guys, we have to define one CIDR, and I'm just going with the IPv4 here. So CIDR, I will use 172.16.0.0/20. So when you will define this particular CIDR here, I will get the IP ranges, which is starting from 172.16.0.0 till 172.16.15.255, right? These are the IP ranges I will get. So here I will get around total of 16 subnet, which is more than enough. Okay. In your live classes, I will discuss in more details the same thing. So let me just create the BPC. BPC is created. If you will go here, you can able to see this is the BPC, and these are the properties of your BPC. Here you can able to see the BPC ID, state, right? DSCP option, all these details here. Now you can go into the subnet, and here I will create the subnet. So as I have mentioned, I will select my BPC first, and I will create the subnet here. I will create subnet 01, which is a private. So I will give the name which is private. And I will just put this particular subnet on my availability zone, which is US East 1A. So guys, the meaning of this thing is, let me just tell you. See, we have a North Virginia region. In North Virginia region, what we have a availability zone. Like A is availability zone 1, availability zone 2, availability zone 3, availability zone 4, AZ5 and AZ6. So North Virginia region have a 6 availability zone. These are the US East 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E and 1F. These are the availability zone, and these availability zone, they have a multiple data centers. Like maybe AZ1 have 2 data center or 3 data centers just for the high availability purpose. Okay. So I'll select, I will put on US East 1A. And the subnet you have to define, which is 172.16.0.0/24. So whatever machines I will put on subnet 01, they will get the IP address from this particular range. I'll create another subnet. So let me just create all these subnet just in one go. This is my subnet 2, which is a private subnet. I will put this subnet on next availability zone, which is 1B, US East 1B. And 172.16.1.0/24. Now I will create the third subnet. This is my public subnet. So I'll give the name subnet 03. This is public. And this particular subnet I will put in 1C. And I will put here 172.16.15. 0/24, the last one, because in public subnet I will generally put my jump host. And what is the reason of putting the jump host? So this public subnet means these jump hosts we can able to reach directly from the internet. Whatever machines we will put on private subnets, these machines we cannot able to access directly through the internet. That's the main difference. Okay. Now, as I have created these subnets, now I'll go here and I will create a dedicated route tables to configure the routing. So guys, by default, you will get one default route tables for BPC01. So this route table is known as a main route table. So you can put the name here like main route table. And now I will create my customized route tables. Okay. So I'll go and I will just go here and I'll just put the name. Private route table. BPC01 private route table. I will select my BPC here. Create this route table. As I have created this private route table, now I'll go into subnet association and I'll just associate the private subnet. So these two are the private subnets. So I will just associate them here. Come back here. Create the route table again. And this is my public route table. Select the BPC, create my public route table. In this public route table, I will associate the public subnet, which is this one, subnet 3. And these two route tables I have created just to segregate the routing. Okay. There's no hard and fast rule, just to segregate the routing. And guys, I will create now one internet gateway. To connect the EC2 machines with the internet, I need this internet gateway. So I'll give the name here BPC01 internet gateway. iGateway. I'll create the internet gateway. I'll go here, select your internet gateway and attach this internet gateway with your BPC. So we have attached this internet gateway with the BPC. Now you can just come back to your routing table. Go to into public routing table, because you know this is the route table which we will use for the jump host devices, right? So I'll go here, I'll go into the route, I'll click on edit routes, and here I will just add one route which is all zeros. I will add one default route and it will send the traffic to the internet gateway, and this is my internet gateway. Save. So now I have basically completed this part of my lab. Let me go here. So what I have done, I have created the BPC. I've created these subnets. I have created the routing table for private, and I have created the routing table for public, and I have also created the internet gateway. Okay, now what I will do, now I will basically create my EC2 machines. So I'll go here, I'll go into the EC2 console. So let me open this EC2 into the new tab. I'll go into the instance here. Let me launch the EC2 machine here. So I'll give the name like VM0. I will just select the Amazon Linux. Right now you can see we have a lots of operating systems, right? But I will just select the Amazon Linux here. And guys, in your live classes, I will explain the same thing in detail. This is the AMI which we are using. This is the architecture of this machine. So we are using 60-bit architecture, right? We are using T2 micro. So from here we have to select what is how many CPU, what is the RAM, right? All these details. I will go with the free tier eligible, and I have to create the key pair to log in. So I will use the demo key pair, because this is why I have already created that one. I will edit the network settings. I'll select my BPC0, and I will select my subnet, and I want this machine on my subnet 1. I want this machine on subnet 1. I don't want any public IP on this machine because it's a part of my private subnet, right? I'll create one security group, guys. So it is just a security group we just use for allowing the traffic or blocking the traffic. I will just create one security group with allow all. In your classes, we will do these labs as well, how we can configure the security group and all. There are lots of things are there. Right now, I'm just creating one security group who will allow everything. Okay, so I will just go with the allow all traffic. Advanced networking configuration, you can go here. And I want 172.16.0.100 IP address on this machine. So I'll just put this IP address. Otherwise, this particular machine will get the IP address from DHCP. So I'll want this static IP. So I will select that one. In advance, I don't want to do anything. What you can do? You can do one thing here. I will just use this particular script because I just want to configure the web services. Okay, so I will just define this metadata here. So it can automatically install the HTTPD server and will start that server. So at least we will get the basic HTTP server on this machine. Launch the instance. So this machine is launching now. It will take hardly 1 or 2 minutes. You can refresh here. Yeah, and right now you can see it is just in a pending state. It will come online in a minute. Meanwhile, let me just launch another machine, because as per our lab we need two machines, right? VM2, which act as a jump host. So I will log into this machine, okay, just for the testing purpose. So I will just give the name VM2. I will use AWS Linux, right? All these things. I will select the demo key pair, edit the networking, and I will put this machine on my public subnet. I want the public IP address. So I will just select this auto assign public IP enable. I will basically use the security group, which is allow all. In advanced networking, primary IP address I want, which is 172.16.15.100. I want a static IP on this machine. Go into advanced. And on this machine also, I want the HTTP services. I will use the same user data. Click and launch this machine as well. Go back to instance. Refresh the tab here. Now you can see we have launched this VM machine. Right now it is in running state. This is the instant ID. It is not having any public IP. It just have a private IP, which is 172.16.0.100, right? Here we have public DN, private DNS, all these details, right? There are a lot of things are there, but these things we will cover in detail in your live sessions. Okay, this is the security group which we have basically created, and it is having allow all the traffic, right? So we have inbound rules and we have outbound rules. Everything we will discuss in detail in your live classes. Here we will just go through with the basic thing. Now, if you will check the properties of this VM2, it has a public IP address, right? It has a private IP address as well, 172.16.15.100. So if I'll take this public IP address, if I'll open my putty, you can see. So I will put this public IP address here. Now, guys, by default, see, we are trying to take the SHS, but this we don't have any password. We don't know what is the password in this machine, right? That is the reason we have defined the key pair, right? So I will go here in the authentication, and I have to define that particular key pair, right? So I will just browse that key pair. So this is the key pair I'm having, like demo key pair. Open. Login. Username is EC2-user. We don't need to put any password, and you will see I have the access of my machine, right? Now, if I'll just ping the google.com from here, you can see I can able to access the Google. Right now, do one thing. If I will try to ping 172.16.0.100, this machine VM1, see, I can able to ping this VM1. But see, in VM1, it is not having any public IP address, right? So I cannot able to log in. So what I have to do, see, I have already logged in on my VM2, right? So now what you have to do, if you want to log in into your VM1, what you need to do, you have to go with the SHS. But before going into the SHS, what you have to do, you have to this particular key pair. Let me just open that key pair. Just give me 1 second. This key pair, this key file, right? This key pair basically, this particular key pair you have to basically copy and paste over the on this particular machine. So what I will do, I will just create this key pair nano, and I'll just give the name demo key pair dot pem. Copy the strings, Control X, Y, hit enter, change the permission, chmod 0440400, demo key pair. Now, if you will want to log into that machine, you can go do one thing, SHS-I, demo key pair, define your key pair. Now, EC2-user @ 172.16.0.100, accept the keys. And now you can see I have the access of my 172.16.0.100 machine, which is this VM1, right? In VM1, if you will try to ping the google.com, ping will not work. Why? Because this particular machine is in private subnet. Okay, so everything you will understood when I will discuss how the netting happens and all, because these type of machines will communicate over the internet through the net gateways. Okay, now this part is completed. So guys, if I'll go here, see, I have basically created the BPC component. I have launched these two EC2 machines, right? Now what I will do, now let's try to basically configure the VPN gate related settings. Okay, so to configure the VPN gate related settings, what you can do, you can basically open the BPC again into new tab here, BPC console. Can go down a little bit, and we have a virtual private network. So guys, this IPsec site to site VPN, we can also configure with the help of transit gateway, but today we are just going with the direct. Okay, directly I'm creating. So what I will do, I'll go into virtual private cloud here. I will go here virtual private gateway, and I will just create the VPN gateway. I'll give the name BPC 01 VPN gateway. I'll use the all the settings. I will use the default settings here. Click on create. VPN gateway is created. Go here and attach this VPN gateway with your BPC. Now your VPN gateway it attached with the BPC, right? So it will take some time in attaching. So what I can do, I will just leave this thing as it is. Now I'll go here and I will create the customer gateway. Means now I want to create these data center side of things or my on-prem side of things, customer gateway, right? I'll create a customer gateway. I'll give the name PaloAlto VPN gateway 01. BGPSN, I will use the default one. Now here we have to specify the IP address of your customer gateway. Means now you have to define the public IP address. Okay. So what I will do right now on my PaloAlto firewall, I have the private IP, right? I have the private IP. What I will just go over the internet. I will check what is my IP address. So this is my public IP address, because from this IP address my traffic is going on. I'll just select this IP address and I'll go here and I'll just define this particular public IP address, because this is my public IP address of my home router. Okay. Certificate, all these things I will leave default. I'll go and I'll just create the customer gateway. Customer gateway is created. Now go back to VPN private gateway. See, it is attached, right? Everything is good. Now we have to create a site-to-site connection. Create the connection here. Give the name AWS to PaloAlto by using the AWS private gateway. I will select the private gateway. Customer gateway is existing, which we have already created. So I will select that. I want to go with the static routing, right? And here you can define your routing. Here we have to define the static routing. Like, so what I will do, I'll go here. If you will not define, then it will take the default 00. So I will define the static routing, which is 10.1.1.0/24. These are my on-prem subnets, right? On my data center or on my lab here, right? In this segment, right? So I will just define these two subnets here. Local IP address. Here we have to define the local CIDR. So here we have to define the range on the customer gateway, right? What is the CIDR? So let me just define this one. 10.0.0/8. And here I will define the remote one on AWS side. AWS side, we are using this particular CIDR, right? So I will define that one. These are the tunnel settings. I will not modify anything. If you want, you can just create your preset key, but I will use the AWS created one. Click on create the VPN connection. Now your VPN connection is created. Meanwhile, guys, let me take the CLI access of my PaloAlto. And guys, this is also one of the industry use case actually. Okay. If you will know how you have implemented this thing in the lab environment, you can easily able to do the same thing over the public environment, because in AWS, see, AWS is very easy, right? We just have the access of upper layer, right? We don't have access of the lower layer environment. So this is my PaloAlto CLI. Now, what I will do, you can see my customer gateway. Let me just refresh here. This is my VPN ID, right? All these things are there. Tunnel details. You can see there are the two tunnels, tunnel 1 and tunnel 2. Right now, both are in down state. Now, what I will do, I'll click on download configuration. What is the device I'm having in my data center? I have a PaloAlto, right? So I will select the PaloAlto networks. I'm using PanOS 7 Plus because right now I'm running PaloAlto 10 version, right? I will go with the IKE V2. Download the configuration. I'll go and I'll just paste here, and now I'll just open this particular config file. Now this is the configuration which we have received from the AWS. Right now we have to use this particular configuration to configure the tunnel, right? So what I can do, I'm just removing couple of things here. So it's become easy to understand. But configuration exactly similar you have to do, right? Now, what we can do in your VPN, what we have to do? First, we have to configure the crypto profiles, right? So if I'll go into my PaloAlto here in network tab, and you will configure the VPN on Palo Alto, if you know, first we have to create the iCrypto, right? So this is the CLI for to configuring the iCrypto. So I'll just copy this and go into my CLI and just paste here. When you will go and paste, if you will go here, if you will refresh, see my crypto profile for VPN is created. They are using Diffie-Hellman group 2. Authentication algorithm is SHA-1. Encryption algorithm is AES 128 CBC. Lifetime is 8 hours, right? Go here. I want to use the IKE version, IKE B2 only, right? So I will go here and I will just use this one. But guys, remember one thing. See, my Palo Alto firewall is not having the public IP address, right? So I have to define the private IP address of my Palo Alto firewall here. This is the pre-shared key. Okay. So you can go here, you can copy and paste. You can see there is a something I have done the mistake. Let me just see. Yeah, because you guys, we have to enable the net traverser. So you have to select yes here because I will go with the net T. I will just copy again. Go and just paste. So there is still there is a error. It is not able to take the local IP address. That's not a problem. I'll go here. Let me just fix from here. I'll go into this IKE gateway because I'm trying to create this IKE gateway, right? See, IP address is defined. Preset key is also defined. Net T is also enabled, right? This is the thing which I needed. Okay, I will not define any type of local identification and peer identification. Why I'm not doing? Because my firewall having the private IP and it is behind the net gateway. Okay, so I will not define any type of local identification remote. Click on OK. So if you are getting this error, this is not a problem. We can go with, we can still continue. Go here now. Now we have to create the IPsec crypto profile. This is your phase 2 policies. This one, IPsec crypto, right? So you can go here, create your phase 2 policies, which is done. If you will refresh here, see your phase 2 policies created. We are using ESP protocol, AS128 as an encryption, SHA-1 as a authentication, group 2 as a Diffie-Hellman exchange. Like PFS is group 2. Okay, and lifetime is 1 hour. Go here again. Now let's define the tunnel setting, right? So what they are just telling to create one tunnel interface, which is tunnel 1.0, right? So you can go here and you can create the tunnel interface. I'll go here on my firewall interfaces, tunnel. You can see one tunnel interface is created, right? Tunnel 1. You can go here and see they're asking to basically add this interface on a outside zone, but I wanted to add this interface on my VPN zone. So what I will do, I'll go here. I'll just create a VPN zone here. Right? And I'll go into interfaces, tunnel 1 interface. I'll define I will add this interface on my virtual router VR01, and I will just call this interface on my security zone, which is VPN. This is the IP address. In advance, I will just call the interface management profile, which is ping. This is what you have to do by yourself. So the same thing they are also telling, add one zone detail and all, right? Now what we are doing now, I will just go and I'll just create the IPsec settings here. This one, IPsec tunnel right now we don't have any. So you can go here, just paste, and it will create the IPsec tunnel related settings, Refresh here. You can see IPsec tunnel rated setting is created. So advanced, you can able to see the advanced things here. Proxy IDs we don't need it here. Click on OK. So guys, this is what you have to do. Now you have to define the static routing, right? So how we can do the routing? See, they are using the policy based forwarding and all. I will not use the PVF and all these things, right? What I will do, I'll directly go into my virtual router. I'll go here into static route and I'll just add the routing. AWS tunnel 1 route. Destination is 172.16.0.0/20. Interface is tunnel 1. Next hop, so you can go here, just look for the IP address of your tunnel interface. Tunnel interface having IP 169.97.197.74, right? And if you will go here over the environment, go into tunnel 1. This is the 72. So your tunnel interface at the AWS side, it is having the 73 IP address, right? So next hop is 73. This is the next hop IP. Because 74 we are having on the firewall, 73 we have on the AWS environment. Click on OK. Click on OK. Now you can go into the policies. Add the policy here. AWS VPN. So what guys, I'm just creating the simple policy which will allow the bidirectional traffic between inside to VPN or VPN to inside or DMZ. Add the VPN here. Destination is also same. I'm just allowing the VPN traffic from inside or DMZ to VPN or VPN to inside and DMZ. And let's go and just allow the traffic. Go and just do the commit. Now commit is completed, guys. Now what you have to do now, you have to go to into the route tables here. In the VPN public route table, go to into the routes, click on edit routes, and you have to add the routes 10.1.1.0/24. This network is reachable via the VPN gateway. Add one more route 10.2.2.0/24 is also reachable via the VPN gateway, which is this. This config changes we have to do on the public route table, and the same thing you have to do on the private route table as well. This is your private route table. Go here and add this particular routes 10.1.1.0/24 is reachable via VPN private gateway. Add the another route 10.2.2.0/24. You can see I have basically added both the routes here now. Static routes. So we have a tunnel setting right now. You can see both the tunnel is in down state, right? Now, see both tunnel in down state. Now you can go here, edit, and do one thing. Go to into your firewall. Commit is completed, right? I'll go into this machine. I'll open the command prompt here and just do the ping to 172.16.0.100 with -t. Ping is going on. Let's wait for some time. Meanwhile, I'll go here. I will run this command. So VPN, I कैसे? So right now your phase 1 is came up. You can see it is in established state. Let me just decrease the size little bit. So VPN, IPsec ऐसे? IPsec is also up. Still ping is not working. I'll go into this machine. Ping to 10.1.1.100 with so see guys, if you have this type of issues, right? If your ping is not happening, most of the time this is the problem with regards to the routing. Okay, so check your routing properly. So let me just go here, as I know I have to do something here. Edit 10.1.1.0/24 10.2.2.0/24, because in case of BGP, this route propagation works automatically. But here we have to define these things. Save the changes. Just refresh here. Both the tunnel is in down state. Let me just double check the configuration. Sometimes there is a some issue with the config, so I'll just validate my routing first here. So I have the private route table where I have defined the routing. So this is fine. This route is also fine. Yes, here also we have a routes properly. So this is the customer IP address. This is good. See, tunnel came up. So it will take some time, guys. Basically, now you can see one tunnel is came online. All the routes is also in available state. Let's go here and you can see ping is start working. See, I can able to ping my on-prem devices. Like 10.1.100 I have in my on-prem. 10.2.2.101 is also in on-prem. See, 102. Looks like this device I have not started yet. These two servers, let me just start both of them as well. So guys, this is how we have to do the IPsec site-to-site configuration between your AWS and your PaloAlto environment. Let's wait for these two devices to come online. And if I'll go on this machine, see 102 is reachable now and 103 is also reachable. See, I can able to ping, even though I can go into this machine. See, from here also I can able to ping. I'll go here. I'll open my web browser. Let me open my web browser and I will try to access the web services on my server. So see, guys, this is how we have to perform this particular lab. Even though I can also able to see right now, you can see one tunnel is in up state, another is down state. We can also basically configure the second tunnel and both tunnel will came up. And that time we can configure the policy based forwarding. In your PaloAlto firewalls, it can forward from subnet, it will forward the traffic through tunnel 1. And for some subnet, it will forward the traffic through the tunnel 2. And you can go into the network here. IPsec tunnel, you can see your tunnel is also in up state, right? So we can check everything now. Let's go here. Why it is not opening? Yes. Now if I will type 172.0.16.15.100, you can see I can able to access the web server. This is the same web server which is hosted on this machine. If I'll go on my EC2, this is my VM2. If I will take the public IP of this VM2 and if I will put this public IP over the internet, I will get the access of the same server. See, it's the same server I have basically available on this machine. Okay. Now, so guys, this is how we have to configure this particular lab in your PaloAlto firewall. So guys, that's it with regards to this particular lecture or this particular demo session.